Everybody with Angela Williamson is made possible by Fireheart Pictures and viewers like you. Thank you. There are several solutions to treat PTSD, but for some people, service dogs can help. Service dogs can be trained for a variety of conditions, but one dog can cost up to $25,000 and take 2 years to train. Tonight, we talk to an organization dedicated to training service dogs for our military and first responders. I'm so happy you're joining us.
From Los Angeles, this is KLCS PBS. Welcome to Everybody with Angela Williamson, an innovation, arts, education, and public affairs program. Everybody with Angela Williamson is made possible by viewers like you. Thank you. And now your host, Dr. Angela Williamson.
Mike from Working Dogs with Warriors is here with us tonight, and you brought a friend.
I did. I brought a special guest. This is Stanley. He is our 7-month-old Labrador Retriever. He is currently in training to be a service dog that we're going to donate to a veteran or first responder.
Well, when I was doing my research, it was amazing. I did not realize the cost, not only just monetary, but just the time to train the dogs. So before we get to that, though, please tell us a little bit about yourself and why this became such a burning passion for you.
Absolutely. So I wanted to start Working Dogs for Warriors for a couple of reasons, one of which was kind of in honor of my grandfather. He's a Marine Corps veteran during the Vietnam era.
Okay.
And when he got back, he suffered through PTSD, night terrors, the whole array of things from that almost a lot of veterans from that time period kind of suffered through. Then getting older, I had friends who went to the military, and their experiences were very similar to that of my grandfather's. And the answer to it all was medication. I would see them here's this type of pill. If that doesn't work, take this. It just doesn't work. So the more research that went into service dogs, it became very beneficial that guys were able to actually come down off of their medications because of these dogs. So we definitely wanted to do something that we're able to give back, because there's so many companies out there that charge for service dogs, and we wanted to make sure that we were set up in a way that we can donate these at zero cost to our veterans and first responders.
And I mean, because of the expense of them as well, how did you start finding partnerships or people within the community to help you fulfill your mission? Because now you're doing it, you want to do it free of charge, whereas companies charge thousands upon thousands of dollars to do it.
Yeah, so Working Dogs for Warriors is a little different than other organizations out there. We're a mental health organization that also trains dogs. So we do a lot in our community to really showcase the other organizations out there that are doing good as well. The boots on the ground organizations that are actually changing lives in our community. So we host numerous events throughout the year. We're able to bring people together and kind of share our mission as well as others. We're a nonprofit organization, so we generate donations that way. We have classes, we have public classes that actually help fund our nonprofit. So we do public dog training, public doggy daycare, boarding and all that stuff to be able to help fund these dogs. Just last year we brought in 12 veterans. This year we brought in 6 in the first part of the year, about 2 months ago, another 6, and I'm planning on by the end of the year to bring in another 6 to 12 veterans. Wow. So yeah, it's definitely the number of applications over the last 12 months have tripled than what we have normally received. So I'm definitely trying to do a push so where we could be able to provide dogs and training services for as many veterans and first responders as we can.
And so the community really taking it, I hate to say taking advantage, but helping with your services that you offer, the daycare, the training. They're doing more than just training their dogs or putting their dog in a daycare. They are actually paying it forward by making sure that our military and first responders are taken care of by being given a service dog, right?
Absolutely. Our trainers, including myself, we are all volunteers for the organization. So everything that goes into the organization goes right back into helping provide these dogs, from purchasing the dog, the leashes, the collars, the food. Vet bills. Unfortunately, our vet bills were pretty high this past year.
Yes.
But we're able to try to ease that stress for them of getting a dog, by providing as much as we can for them.
Well, and my other question I was thinking too is, so how did you, because Stanley's a baby, how did you find Stanley?
Stanley was actually donated to us. So Stanley and his brother, Cooper, were both donated to us when they were about 8 to 12 weeks old. Cooper actually, his job, even how young he is, he works with the San Bernardino County Fire Department as a care team dog. So that was a program that we started this past year. We were able to donate 5 dogs to the County of San Bernardino to be with their firefighters, to be able to provide care team support services to their own firefighters.
We don't think about
No,
that,
absolutely
how
not.
important that is to our firefighters that are on the front lines, because now we don't have fire season here. It's just 12 months a year.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
So these dogs, like even Cooper being so young, same age as Stanley, he's already been out to these campaign fires where they go out and they're there for days on end. They don't get to go home. They're there actually putting their lives on risk to be able to help put these fires out, to save the homes, to save these communities. So Cooper's able to go out there and just provide that de-stressor, that time to take their mind off, take their turnout gears off and just hang out with the dog, be able to talk, be able to express how they're actually feeling with their day job.
You mentioned that a lot of times just having a service dog will help a person in the military or first responder to a point where they don't need medication to cope. I mean, that's a really big deal. So to a point, do you find that a lot of big health organizations want to be part of this as well? Because this is like a holistic way to help our veterans and first responders to move on. And I didn't mention that in the teaser, but first responders have PTSD. I mean, I can imagine the front lines on the fire zones like that.
Absolutely. So one of the other founders of this organization is my wife.
Aww.
She is a 911 dispatcher. So she hears those calls. She gets the worst of the worst when whenever that emergency happens. They're the first phone call. So in the beginning, when we first started having more and more dogs, she would actually take a couple to work. We were able to contact the chief. Chief was totally fine with it. Allowing her to take a dog with her on a shift, and you just see the energy in the room completely change.
Yes.
The second that dog walks in, there was one time where one of her coworkers received a pretty bad call, and no one really knew it because, moving on to the next call. But she had one of our dogs with us who actually is now with the county fire as a care team dog.
Oh, yes.
But he, on his own, got up from our puppy raiser, walked over to the other side and sat down and started licking her. And she started bawling in tears, because he picked it up. He was able to be in there and know something was wrong. And he walked over there and was able to kind of just help her.
Well, you hear how much our furry friends, their intuition is off the charts. I mean, they know when we need them.
Oh, absolutely.
And so when we come back, we're going to move, I guess we're going to move this table and we're going to watch what you do with Stanley. I'll try not to be a distraction since it seems like Stanley likes me. But I would love for you to just show us what you're doing because our community needs to know the difference you're making. So can you hold on a second?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We'll be right back. Come back to hear how Working Dogs for Warriors honors those who have dedicated their lives to serving our community and country.
Welcome to America's Test Kitchen at home.
At home.
At home.
At home.
At home.
This year, we're bringing it all back home
Ta-da!
with great new recipes,
It's cheese time.
I hated tuna fish when I was a kid.
ingredients, and gear,
Here's mud in your eye.
and your favorite test cooks.
Today, I want to talk about my tank.
Cooking in their own kitchens. America's Test Kitchen at home.
It's really good.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I was a hero, says a lot of people. I was a hero in the military, being a combat medic. But when I came back, I didn't feel like such a hero.
The real pain of dealing with PTSD isn't visible.
Our military heroes and first responders are often suffering in silence and painful isolation.
There's a reason why every single 911 dispatcher has a mute switch. And I can recall certain calls where I have to hit it because I'm crying too. I'm crying too. And I know we have to go home. And how do you be a wife after hearing what you just heard?
Working Dogs for Warriors is helping erase the agony of PTSD.
There's tons of research out there now that show that animals have tremendously lowered the amount of medications that individuals are having to take due to PTSD. So that's something what we really wanted to focus on.
Founders Michael and Daisy Welsh train and donate service dogs for veterans and first responders.
He's very protective of me. He knows when I'm having my anxieties, when I have that, he's always there for me. And he knows how to snap me out of it. And that's why he's also my savior.
This is Sly. He's a 2.5-year-old boxer. We've been here at Working Dogs for Warriors for about 2 years now. He helps me by assisting me in keeping out of my depression, getting stuck on the couch, getting stuck in the home, keeps me from doing bad things to myself.
My reasoning for starting Working Dogs for Warriors was twofold. My grandfather was a Marine. He suffered severe PTSD, night terrors, and kind of the whole array of things. Unfortunately, at that time, the VA's answer to a lot of that was just medication.
Instead of medicine, Working Dogs for Warriors is transforming and healing broken lives.
Couple weeks into our program, seeing the dogs just fly through it and seeing the smile on that veteran's face, it's so rewarding, like that makes everything worth it right there.
It just changed me. I mean, he saved my life. I contemplated suicide multiple times. Just having my dog, it gives me an extra purpose. It gives me an extra purpose.
It's been the blessing for me ever since she's become a service dog. It's kept me calmer, quieter. I'm not as angry. I don't have such a fast trigger anymore. So the dog has really taught me how to calm down and stay relaxed and focused.
Working Dogs for Warriors is more than service dog training. We have multiple avenues to promote that wellness within a warrior. And a warrior is a veteran or a first responder and their families that come with them.
People are able to come out and just speak to like-minded individuals, people who have gone through the same stuff that they have, and just know that they're not alone.
Fundraising and generous donations cover the cost of training and support.
So we're able to donate our time to train as many dogs as we can. Last year we brought in 15 dogs. This year we're bringing in an additional 12 to 16 dogs in the next 2 weeks.
Michael and Daisy's lifelong mission is to heal and care for our heroes.
We just want to show you that we appreciate you and we're here to love you. We're here to care for your wellness, everything about you. We want to show you we appreciate it.
They are certainly my heroes, and I guarantee you all of our veterans and first responders will say the same thing. They helped save my life, helped save my marriage.
I would say that Mike and Daisy are definitely heroes to the veteran first responder community.
Yes, I think Mike and Daisy are real heroes. They saved my life. So to be a hero, you got to save lives and you got to do good things for others.
I consider them real heroes for what they do for us. They don't have to do this. They don't have to put in the time, the effort, or the energy that they do put in, or the dedication. You can see it in their eyes when you talk to them. They're dedicated, they're focused, they want to do this. The best of them brings out the best in us.
I do not consider my husband and I a real hero. I consider us people that help real heroes. And the reason I don't consider us real heroes is because I know what some of our veterans and first responders have been out there to go do.
I would not consider myself a hero. Each and every veteran and first responder who walks through these doors is a hero.
Welcome back. Mike and Stanley, they're back with us from Working Dogs for Warriors. Thank you so much, Mike, for doing this and bringing Stanley. Remember, Stanley's a puppy, okay? So bringing Stanley here. But we talked about that training. And I know you've been working with Stanley, and Stanley has a brother, Cooper. So how do we first start training when we get the puppies into the
So it really starts with a lot of just socialization training, getting him used to these types of environments, you know, taking him out to local malls, shopping centers, schools to play with kids, you know. We really want them to get exposed to all of that stuff so when they're older, you know, they're nice, well-rounded dogs.
Okay.
You know, so one of the things that we kind of start with, Stanley, say hi. Come on, go say hi.
Hi.
You know, is teaching him like a greeting. You know, we don't want them to go on their own, to go want to jump and play with people or jump on people, go boy. You know, so we want to teach him that release command basically, which is him going saying hi.
Yes.
You know, so that helps tremendously down the line.
Aww.
Good boy.
Wow. Wow. And when you start giving Stanley commands, you progress based on how they get the command first, or?
Correct. Yeah. So a lot of it, like the basic stuff, sit down and stay, you know, like that's the real basic foundational things. You know, we want to teach this to make sure he's going to stay here, like how he was laying just right next to us for the majority of the interview until he wanted to go say hi.
You little flirt, yes.
You know, so we want to teach the dogs, so especially with, honestly, this position right here is one of the other tasks that we train the dog is 6, you know, so that they're watching their handlers back. You know, so in case their handler goes to an ATM machine, a counter at a store, or whatever the case is, a lot of times with people with PTSD, you know, they have that hypervigilance. You know, they're always looking over their back, or they're always just checking, you know?
Yes.
Well, having that dog do that for them, you know, sit there, even though this dog is the most loving dog in the world, he's not going to bite a fly, you know, but having that sense of protection, that sense of normalcy right there, you know, or it gives them that sense of normalcy. You know, being able to have that dog rely on their dog, you know?
Well, and then my other question too, because with each dog you get, there are different triggers for PTSD. So how do you train the dogs for those triggers?
So a lot of it actually goes down to like scent work. You know, so the dogs are actually pick up a certain scent that the body releases when their stresses are high. Like I mentioned earlier with my watch, right? Yes. It hasn't gone off yet. But like they'll pick up before my watch picks up that my heart rate's getting too high. You know, so we're able to train the dog to pick up that scent. You know, so as I'm checking, okay, my heart rate's high, I'm going to swab the mouth, collect that sample. Now we can use that sample in a training exercise that teaches the dog, hey, every time he finds that, he's going to give some sort of alert. Either it's putting his paw on my leg or licking my face or whatever the case is, you know, whatever we want to teach them to do to help bring down that heart rate.
Oh, that is so interesting. And at some point, when Stanley is fully trained for the person that you've decided that Stanley will go with, do you spend time with them, like 1 week, 2 weeks, a month, 6 months?
So our training program is very much different than others out there.
Tell us how.
There's other programs where they'll come out 2 weeks, here's your dog.
Yes.
You know, our program actually, it starts at this step where we introduce the veteran as soon as we can. So we get that person to participate in trainings for the following 1.5 to 2 years. You know, that's where the real healing takes place.
Yes.
You know, being able to teach their dog something, being able to teach the veteran on how to get your dog to sit. You know, the simple things, the foundational things, what the dog already understands, you know, now we're able to get that veteran to do it on his own. You know, or we have a whole obstacle course set up, you know. So teaching the dog how to jump over a wall or jump over barrels or walk across a little Stanley.
No jumping now, Stanley.
Yeah. You know, or walking across a board that's 6 feet high, you know?
Yes.
At first, the dogs are scared. The handlers are like nervous, you know, what's going on. But after a couple trainings with it, you know, seeing the look on the veteran's face or the first responder's face, the handler's face, when their dog is able to get over something like that, it's rewarding in its own. You know, so that's where the real healing takes place. That's why our program is different than so many others out there, because we really want to focus on that handler-dog team bond.
So this training starts from the very beginning, and then you're there to assist throughout their entire relationship.
Correct. Yep.
I love this. And my other question would be too, because we talked about military, and then you brought up first responders as well.
Yes.
I've been seeing lately that they've even brought service dogs in on college campuses too as well. And so how do the kids respond when you're bringing in your dog in?
Oh, they love it.
They do.
Yeah, they absolutely love it. You know, like first couple of times when we go there, you know, we'd always kind of joke around with the kids and stuff.
Yes,
you know?
of course.
Like they always think, oh, it's a police dog, you know. So you get those students, you know.
Yes.
But then we bring in a puppy like Stanley, and everyone's like, oh my goodness, you know, the most, you know, star football player who's all tough over here is now rolling on the floor with a dog. You know, it's the most adorable thing. You know, and it just helps with their learning. It helps just ease their stress, you know, because also a lot of what we do is to combat that suicide. You know, when it comes down to it, that's where our main focus is to combat suicide, whether it's in children or whether it's in veterans and first responders. You know, so our programs that we're able to take these dogs through the schools, you know, we get teachers and counselors telling us, like, the kids are looking forward to you coming. You know, the kids are purposely making sure that they're there that day because they want to see the dogs.
So attendance is up.
Oh,
the
absolutely.
Day that
Attendance
you come to
absolutely.
school. Well, and that's important too, because I mean, we've had several guests talk about the impact of the social, emotional reaction of students now that been through the pandemic, and it seems like this is so important right now.
Absolutely. We actually had a reading program and a program prior to the pandemic where we would take our dogs, and it's for one, it's a great experience to see these veterans with their giant dogs sitting there having kids read to them. You know, that's in its own is tremendous. You know, but now turning into a full program where we're helping these individuals with just that de-stressing, you know, those grounding techniques with these dogs. You know, it's just so rewarding on the other end just to kind of see where it's all leading to.
So before we close, I want you to show some of the Stanley, this is how you take an afternoon nap.
Absolutely.
But show some things that Stanley can do, and so our audience can see, and I'll step a little bit behind.
Okay.
And
I hope he'll do it. That's the
I
thing.
know.
Stanley's, follow. Come on, Stanley's. Come on. Let's go. Come.
Yes.
Good boy. Let's go.
Yay.
Good boy. Heel. Good. Stanley sits. Good boy. Follow. Good boy. Sits.
Follow. Yay. Oh.
Good boy.
Good boy. Aww.
So Stanley is definitely cared to. The care team.
Stanley is a ladies' man, let me tell you. Oh, okay. So how can we help you? We need to help you.
Go to our website. It's workingdogsforwarriors.com. Or come out to our community events, you know, help share a post. It really comes down to that community engagement. You know, we're just trying to build awareness of our programs, build awareness of everything that we do in our community, not only dog training, you know, but our mental health programs, our fellowship groups, our pantry programs. You know, there's so much that Working Dogs for Warriors offers that it'll take 2 hours to talk about everything.
I know. Well, Mike, thank you so much for what you're doing, not only just with our military, our first responders, but what you're doing with our children too, because they really need something like this right now. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
We'll make sure our audience can reach out to you and your lovely wife too for everything that you do together as a couple.
Absolutely.
So I look forward to seeing you two do great things.
Thank you so much.
You too. And Stanley, you just relax while
Here's
I
your
close it out.
leash.
Thank you. Yeah, just relax, Stanley. You're good. And thank you for joining us on Everybody with Angela Williamson. Viewers like you make this show possible. Join us on social media to continue this conversation. However, Stanley's mine, you cannot have him. Good night and stay well. Hi, I'm Angela Williamson, host of Everybody with Angela Williamson. Thank you for watching KLCS. If you enjoy my show as well as all the other shows here on KLCS, please consider supporting the station. Your support helps keep all your favorite programs available. You can support KLCS by calling 888-998-KLCS or by visiting klcs.org. And again, thank you for watching KLCS PBS.